So this last weekend was the June Commoner Crawl event here in Portland, Oregon, and I tell you what, it was the Fi show. We had 3 of them running around, duking it out, taking names. We put 2 into the top 4. So in today's episode, let's cover the tournament, as well as the top 4 deck lists from that event. You're watching Budget Format Fab on Dice Commando, your BFF for all things in budget flesh and blood. Coming to you midweek each week, these videos are possible thanks to the support of our channel members. If you want to get involved with the channel and join us on our community Discord, please consider joining as a member. You can be our BFF and show your support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving a comment. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, my flesh and blood friends. It's your BFF here on Dice Commando, recapping the Commoner Crawl event we had just this last weekend here in Portland. It was a hot one on the day, and we were kind of in like an inside-outside area, so we were all feeling the heat. But it wasn't from just the sun. It was from the Fis running around everywhere. So I want to start this off with a huge congratulations to Anthony Galleran pulling this one down. He's been working on, he won it on Fi, and he's been working on this Fi deck for a long time. So it was really awesome that with today's, or I should say not today's, I'm not even shooting it today, with last weekend's tournament, that he was able to kind of cap that off. Now, the reason I say that with a term of finality is we usually do go into summer break as it is. So we would normally be taking the next couple weeks or next couple months off, usually returning in the fall. But there's a very excellent chance, and by non-zero chance, it's like significantly high chance that this will be our last Commoner Crawl because we will be probably rebranding to Project Blue. It will depend on some timelines and how official things are and if we can actually run it in Gem or not in this official event. We will see where we're at. But it may have been, Anthony may be the final Commoner Crawl, that's hard to say, the last Commoner Crawl winner we've ever had. So that's very, very, very interesting. Right, so the event was pretty awesome. We ended up with Anthony in 4th place going 0-4. We had 10 folks. Myself in 2nd place with losing to Anthony. I was on Rhinar. That's right, Rhinar. We had Carrie on Fi, go 2-2. And then we had Simon on Fang. That's right. I wanted to play him so bad. I really wanted to see his deck in action. But alas, it was not in the cards, or I should say it was not in the gems. But Simon on Fang, right? Pretty exciting decks to be going through today. So I do want to also give a shout out to our good boy SS Jedi, good old Steve. He was the Commoner Crawl survivor. He won the other pint glass. And then we had Adon. Adon joined us for the very first time. And of course, wins the playmat because that's, hey, new people luck and hopefully needed the playmat. And it's a pretty one with Florian anyway. So good to see you, Adon, and we'll see you in the future coming back. All right, so going into the deck list without further ado, as I said, but Anthony's been working on this one for a long time. Now, obviously, we have 2 Fi decks to go through today. You're going to see a lot of stuff that is very similar, but you're also going to see a lot of stuff that's not. And there's some very interesting things in Anthony's deck that I really like. So you can see he's on the RTT Kitty package with the exception of he's on Vest of the First Fist. He's not on Blood Scent. So he's giving up 1 armor to be able to make 2 resources. Okay, he has Tide Flippers. He does have Kodachi package if he needs to go on it, but I saw him playing Emberblade, at least myself personally, I saw him playing Emberblade all day. Okay, so he has Rising Red Blue, Brand Red Blue, Cinderskin Devotion Red, Dust Runner Outlaw. Don't see that one a lot, but it is a common fire starter. He has First Strike or 10 into the First Strike. It works very, very, very well in this deck because it puts +1 over the top on the next one. Okay. Now let's go back. I know I'm going kind of in a snake here, but I wanted to talk about Tooth of the Dragon. Very interesting. It's kind of like a free nimbleism from a certain point of view. Works. It catches you off guard because there's a pump. It also works on any draconic attack. That's kind of interesting with your Emberblade, right? Bittering Thorns is in there, of course. We have Scar for a Scar. Oh, man, that's what lost me that game. He took the hit to go down 1 to be able to scar me. Ah! Brilliant play. Well done. Blaze Headlong. And then when we go to the rest of this, it kind of starts building itself with stuff we would expect. We see Soul Bead, we see Lava Burst, you see Ronin, you see Soaring Strike, you see Salt the Wound, you see the Lava Vein Loyalties red-blue, it's because it defends 3. We do see Pouncing She is in there. That's one of for his Tiger play, right? Off of the Shuko and the boots. That one's pretty standard. But then we see Grow Claws. So Grow Claws does a lot of work for him. Does a lot of work for him. That card is very, very, very impressive. I'm very impressed with that card. Okay, and then we go and we look at the sideboard, and he's got 2 Sinks and 2 Arcane Polarities, and of course, just the token there with the Crouching Tiger. So thank you, Anthony, for sharing that with us. As I said, maybe the final commoner winner. All right, now let's go over to my Brute deck, my Rhinar deck. So this is a iteration and improvement on the one that I won immediately after the Heavy Hitters era. So that was, I don't know, year and a half ago, whatever it was. I did take Rhinar, just a value Rhinar club build in. I was able to win a crawl. And I was hoping to kind of do it again because it's one of my favorite decks to play. Is it's just like value club. Club being able to swing off a yellow is pretty stupid. Like it's pretty good. So let's go into this. You can see I'm on full Blade Beckoner series except for Barkbone Strapping. I rolled ones twice because of course I did. Why wouldn't I? But all right, I was prepared for it. So the backbone of this is Bonebreaker Bellow. I love the card. Love everything about it. The fact that I can get the Intem and then come in for 10 off of a red. Absolutely love it. It pairs up really well with other 2s if you have the right thing in your hand. I can also get great value on the club because it's again, you swing club for 2, lead with power there, right? So I'd come in just for a cheeky 7, but then it poops out a might for next time. Smash Instinct is pretty much a go-to. Pack Hunt red-blue. We have Wrecker Romp yellow-blue. And then I did go with Assault and Battery for the agility over top of the Might one, which is Pound Town. I do like the agility more. And then the improvement I made since last time was Mighty Windup and Agile Windup. Again, I'm not playing Claws, so you can see why that might not be like quite as advantageous as they could be. Remember, you can chuck them for the bonus plus an Intimidate. And that's I definitely got some first turn sneaky damage in, which is a big deal. Now, I was warbling back and forth on blue Madcap Charger. I did end up deciding to include it just because there's really no blues that are over 4, so I may as well get to go again in there because of allies, which I did run up against a Gravy Bones, by the way, and this card paid dividends from that standpoint. Okay, get the right block card out of their hand and they're left just bare. So Madcap Charger red-blue, Predatory Assault. This is the one that if you're able to do the thing, you can dominate, right? A Bonebreaker Bellow into Predatory Assault off of obviously the beat chest mechanic is pretty good. And then we have Savage Swing as well, which is just your cheeky one. Maybe you do it off an agility. Did not work for me all day, but so be it. And then I did end up finishing with Madcap Muscle because actually it's not a bad value on blue. It's a 3-card hand, but it of itself is blue. So you can see in my sideboard that I have the Null Rune. I have all Null Rune armor except for the chest because I keep Barkbone Strapping, and then Arcane Polarity, and then Sink Below. And you see a lot of very similar sideboard choices from that regard because they're damn good. All right, now let's go over to Carrie's Fi deck and look at the differences here. So instead of reading the whole deck, I want to point out some differences that he did decide to run. So he is on Hot on Their Heels. We did not see that in Anthony's deck. Remember, Hot on Your Heels is not a chain starter, right? So you do have to have the Draconic to be able to get it to have go again. He's on Ravenous Rabble and Scar for a Scar. It does look like Scar for the Scar is in sideboard choice. He's on, speaking of sideboard, he's on Oasis and Sink right there. Okay, now he was playing more of a Rupture package because he did really, like, I was like, oh, I'm totally going to kill him on this turn. And then he finished with a breaking point, and I was like, well, shoot, there went the plan, right? So, like, that was a very good call. I was barely able to eke that game out against him, but it was going to be not even close. And then all of a sudden I was like on my back foot, all because of breaking point. So that worked really well for him. Now he's on Battlefront Bastion. I love that call. Battlefront Bastion is very good into Kadachi, so I actually like that as well. You can see he's on Emberblade. There's no Kadachis in here, right? So again, not having Kadachis lends to doing stuff like Battlefront Bastion because you don't care, right? You just want it to be blue. You do see Cinderskin Devotion blue this time instead of red, and that makes a lot of sense because it blocks 3. Again, you don't care because you don't have Kadachis, okay? Now, The cheeky one he has in here is Razor Reflex. He just has it as a one of. And he also has Blood Drop, so I had actually been looking at Blood Drop as well. It's kind of an inefficient little fire starter, but it can do what, you can pay to it for one if you need to, and in order to start, but if you don't, it's just a cheeky 0. It's, not the bestest card in the world, but I kind of like the flexibility. I had been looking at that as well within my own fight deck. And one thing that is interesting here is he has Burning Blade Dance, which, it is what it is. I understand what he's doing. It's a Draconic Ghost, right? So it makes sense there. So those are pretty much the functional differences. We do have a full range of brand in this case, whereas Anthony was only on the red-blue. Okay, now what we've all been waiting for, at least what I've been waiting for, is the Fang deck. Oh, one thing I skipped over. I do apologize. I have to go back. We had Old Knocker in this deck, right? Old Knocker is one of the best new cards in Commoner because if you don't care about your hero tapping, it's just a free instant resource, right? You don't need to Blossom of Spring or anything like that. So he was on Old Knocker for exactly what he needed to do there. Okay, so it makes a lot of sense. All right, now we go over to the Fang deck, and we even see some sweet, sweet Japanese cards in there, which let's see if I can remember the name of the cards as we go through this, okay? So we have, obviously he's on the Fire Veins with the standard loadout we would expect, which is the Helm, Old Knocker, and then gloves and the boots. There's actually a decent argument in Fang for just, because of how resource constrained he is, for just going the Blade Beckoner Fists and just letting the output go and getting one back. There's an argument for that, I think. But if we go into the decks itself, so he has Scar Tissue Red. See, I remembered one. He has Searing Pain. He has Dynastic Devotion. I think I said that right. Blistering Blade. Tooth of the Dragon. Pledge Fealty. So he was on the Fealty plan. He was trying to do that. And we did see some success with that on the day. He has Searing Gaze. Sworn Vengeance. Of course, he has the Sizzling Shot. Arcane Polarities are in there. Sisters of Fire, Imperial Intent, Cut Deep Blue. Then we have Blaze Headlong, Sink Below, Cut Deep Red, Sworn Blue, Incision Blue, Take a Stab Blue, then Ravenous Rabble Red. And then I don't remember if I called it out, there's Scar Tissue Blue up there as well. And then let's not, of course, forget For the Jerkai, which is a good little finisher in this deck as well. So again, it's very low profile to the ground. Gives you some front pumps, gives you some reacts, lets him put the pressure on even if he's not able to do the thing. He has enough blues that he's not completely reliant on the fealty to get him where he is. I think it's a great little deck and it worked well for him, being able to top 4 on the day. So yeah, folks, that is it. We'll throw up a cheeky little photo that we took, kind of paying homage to where we're at with Golden Tipple, right? And the meta that we, I guess not the commoner meta that we live in, but either way. So enjoy this for my commoner friends. Enjoy the summer. We will be back maybe, but we'll be back with some updates as we head into it to see where we're at. But either way, thank you for joining me this evening. Best of luck. And as always, my friends, go Commando.